Greetings everyone out there. This is Mike, of course, your host for the evening. This next hour, we're going to be talking about something near and dear to my heart. Something that I grew up being fascinated by. The paranormal, supernatural, if you will. And if you won't, who knows? So, the X-Files, Unsolved Mysteries, the Alien Autopsy, Fact or Fiction, hosted by Jonathan Frakes from Star Trek The Next Generation. Stuff like that. One of the things, though, we're going to focus on tonight is the Ghost Report Sightings VHS. So, everybody grab your headphones or your, well, I guess if you might already be wearing them. We're going to go ahead and start this. It's playing. Man, that's static. It's awesome, isn't it? Not really. Well, is it on? It is on. Okay. Brought to you by Paramount. Jesus Christ. Okay. It's a little too loud. Jesus Christ. Let me turn it down a little bit here. Okay, how about that? Okay. So we got a guy talking here. These are the talking heads at the beginning here. They always kind of had a wrap up at the beginning. Kind of like, I guess, experts, if you will, on this case or this thing that happened. This is all supposed to be actually real, like stuff like this happened. This guy, probably peeked the mic there, sorry. When I was younger, I used to think all this stuff was real. Now, people believe that stuff. That's totally cool. I want to believe that kind of stuff is real. Like Boulder says, I want to believe. The older I get, though, you know, it's a little harder to believe. Oh, Tim White, our host for the evening. Oh, man. So here's the intro. This kind of reminded me of, like, X-Files, Sightings, Ghosts. That guy's wearing, like, a weird thing on his face. UFOs with crop circles. ESP, I don't know what that has to do with being underground. Paranormal, which I guess we kind of already, you know, covered that. Mind. Unknown. That kind of, I don't know. They don't really, from what I remember, I mean, they do kind of talk about, like, Bigfoot and stuff on this show, but a lot of it's, like, ghosts and stuff. What is a ghost?
Hollywood, it's a see-through human clad in white.
Clad in white.
Clanking some chains.
Ooh.
But as you'll discover in this report, the truth about ghostly phenomena.
It's scarier than you can remember or even know. All I've heard so far is a bunch of Greek salad. So they did this a lot too. They would have somebody in, like, well, I guess silhouette, like she just said, that
she was floating horizontally up.
you know, it will lead credence to the fact that what they're saying is real and that, you know, they are to be taken seriously because they don't want people to know who they are. And, you know, it works. Gonna drink a little water here. Ghosts don't stand. They hover. Whatever you call them. Specters, shades.
Apparitions. There is not a corner of the world they do not.
That's true.
From this haunted castle in England to this haunted house in Hawaii, a Bavarian monastery, an Italian apartment, mansions in the south.
Excuse me.
In the west. From this
House.
farmhouse
All the way to the White
to the
House.
White House, we have
So,
fascination.
I've watched this way too many times. Ronald Reagan, this is 1987. So, I was born in the 80s, and, you know, when this kind of came out, and I think it was like 96, 95. Let me check and make sure. Yeah, I think that's about right. It's 96. So, this guy's talking about leprechauns are only sighted in Ireland. I don't remember the last time somebody was talking about a freaking leprechaun in Ireland, but, you know. Costello. So this scared the absolute crap out of me when I was younger, to the point where John from our Ravenous in the Thing episodes on Buddy Shotz, I was like, please watch this with me. So we watched it, and yeah, it still scared the shit out of me. I was like, help me! Yeah, I mean, I could never do this, watch this by myself when I was younger. Sorry, I got a freaking paper towel under my foot. This part really didn't scare me all that much. I was just like, oh, you know, it's a light. He's like, the windows are blacked out, mini-me. When we saw the stuff later, there was this shaft of light. So, which is, to me, is completely unexplainable. The stuff with the lights, like, that never really, even when I was young, I was like, who cares? The stuff that really scared me was stuff like, there is, you know, like, well, when we come upon it, I'll tell you. We'll go over it here.
Everybody at the dinner table would see her. She just ignores you. She just walks through us over.
James York, ghost witness.
She never looks at you.
He has no other credentials other than he's a witness of a ghost. So, you know. What are my credentials? I haven't seen a ghost, so I can't say boo. That kind of scared me. Like, what the hell? That freaking painting of that thing. It was like the aliens from Star Wars, like Episode 2, that were breeding the clones or whatever. From Django. They had long necks.
But there was obvious signs of them trying to get out. They had clawed their way halfway through a wooden
This scared me.
Something had frightened them to that point.
The idea of a dog, like two dogs, one jumped out the window and died, and the other one died of fright. I was like,
it seems to be evidence of survival.
But
There's another explanation. And
so
that is that it's just energy recorded
this is the guy. So we years ago we did an episode for Halloween on ghosts. Matt picked Ghosts of Mars, and I picked The Entity. That guy is one of the people that investigated the Entity case of the lady that claimed to be, yeah, here we go. A lady that was essentially raped by a ghost. That's the kind of thing that, like, scared the shit out of me too. It's like the idea that a ghost could actually do something to you. 'Cause people see ghosts, I mean, that's scary enough. But the idea that a ghost could, you know, actually physically manifest themselves and, you know, do something to you, that's pretty fucked up to, like, think about. And I'm not downplaying anybody's experiences, and I'm not saying, you know, I personally, you know, thank God I've never had anything like that happen to me. She said, show yourself. And
at that point I thought the camera was just malfunctioning.
you got another roll of
I
film?
waited till she said it was gone, and I took 2 control pictures. Those pictures are perfectly normal
control pictures.
The only difference, she said it was in the corner, and
The one on the
first
right
was
kind of
in
looks
B,
like
she
it's
said it was
blown
gone.
out, but
A few moments later, we felt a cold breeze of air coming through the door.
cold breeze.
Accompanied by a horrible stench, a stench so foul, some people were vomiting. We fired the
Somebody
camera
must have
in
had
the
Taco
direction
Bell that
breeze
night.
was flowing towards us, and again the picture was bleached out completely, except at the bottom of the doorway you can see a little round
But yeah,
ball of
like I
light.
said, I mean,
A few minutes later, she screamed out
this
right
I was
in
like,
front of my face. We fired the camera,
there's some
and
more
her face
stuff
was completely obliterated.
later on in this that also.
You can see the
There were
cuts
other things in
behind
this
her,
show that
you see
would.
her dress.
So I liked Unsolved Mysteries for, like, you know, the ghosts and stuff. That was my favorite part of it. I didn't really
The
care about
face is
missing people
completely
or like
obliterated.
I mean,
Those were her exact words.
you heard it here
In front of
first.
her face.
Mike,
She and I wanted to
2025. I don't care
She
about
said
missing
it was
people.
gone, and I took the final
As a
picture.
kid, that didn't
This
interest
is
me
a
as much,
perfectly
or
normal picture. It's just
you know,
dark
people
because
being
when you adjust the
reunited.
setting, there's
It
a
was the
scratch
ghosts.
on
It was
which we
Bigfoot. It
tried to
was
pull it a little bit.
not really as much
Otherwise,
the
it's a normal
miracles,
picture.
but like
The only
any
difference
stuff
between
like
these
that
two,
that was like
in one,
scary.
she said it was in front of her face,
Um,
in the other one, she said it was gone.
Even with these
But
pictures,
Unsolved
Amy
Mysteries
still had
introduced
trouble
me to that kind of
convincing his
stuff,
colleagues at UCLA
and then
he was onto something.
this was like
Initially, they would say,
those
"You're
segments,
hallucinating."
but for
Look at them and say, "Well,
a
we
whole
found 20
episode
witnesses." And they would
ratcheted
say, "Well,
up.
then it's obviously
You know,
mass
stuff like
hallucination."
this, where it's like
Returned to
the
house
ghost,
several times.
you know, grabbed somebody, or the ghost tried to hang somebody, or
Phenomena became even more
you know, the
pronounced.
ghost
We started seeing
killed two
balls of
dogs
light
due
lighting up the
to,
walls, and
you know, them
everybody
being
in the room
scared.
would see
It's
this,
just like,
and the lights would get bigger and bigger,
um,
and brighter and brighter. And at some
specifically,
point,
I
my
remember
friend
one
started talking to me,
episode,
and I said, "Well, if you're really here, come
where
off the
he's talking
wall,"
about
because
coming
what I
off
was
the wall.
concerned was that somebody in the room was faking it, and they were projecting the light onto the wall. Well, when I asked that question, the light lifted off the wall, floated into
They
the
kind of
room,
had, like in the
started
movie we
spinning
talked
and
about it,
twisting
or
and
you know, they
expanding in different
showed,
directions
they
simultaneously.
took them to a
In the
control
playground,
warehouse
we
where they
could see
had a
from
bed
sides, and I had
set up,
non-professional
and the
photographers
ghost,
set
I'm
up
sure
and
this
they
was
were shooting from
sensationalized for the
all
movie,
sides.
but it was like it took over this like warehouse even. It like moved, and that's something kind of like in the phenomenon of ghosts that isn't a thing that really happens all that often, where a ghost will follow someone. I think it, you know, people talk about it and stuff, but it's usually attached to a house, but it has been known to attach to people. Oh, but the thing, what was I talking about, where it really scared me, was when they were like, this guy got kidnapped by a UFO, or not a kidnap, but he got abducted, and it returned, they showed, what's it called, the CTV camera footage, and they showed the footage, and it's like he left, and then he came back and he puked because he was like abducted, and I was like, holy shit, and yeah, that scared me. I'm like, wow, I was scared, what a shock.
Popular photography and was the only alleged ghost photo ever published in the magazine. Frank DeFelitta, the author of Aubrey Rose, was also witness to the phenomenon. His incredible first-hand experience in the Culver City, California house inspired him to write The Entity.
And then he was like, cha-ching! Yeah, this is the movie that we reviewed. It looked better when we watched it, because this was like, there's no such thing as DVDs or 4K, Blu-ray back then. The the quality of this looks a lot better when you're standing farther away. Show us yourself! She's like, come on!
It started to appear. It sort of developed a kind of, a kind of arm was articulated. You could see sort of like an arm.
And then
a neck. And then
a bald head.
A kind of bald head.
I've never seen this before.
Collectively, we saw the same thing, every one of us.
I never realized this till now. Is this guy supposed to, I guess this guy's supposed to be a doctor, but he's almost kind of like in a church, because he has the stained glass behind him. That's not the only where, I guess, place where you can have stained glass. I just always kind of associate that with that. Could be in a really nice, you know, office. He's like, I love it! I love stained glass, baby!
Some of the people there found it frightening. I found it very exciting.
He's like, some people found it frightening, especially the lady that was being, her life was being ruined by this. I found it awesome. 2 thumbs up.
But
He's coming in from the shadows. He's like, dun, 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 dun.
With scientific instruments, a phenomenon that seems to defy the laws of science. A worldwide organization of 300 researchers is now experimenting with a little-known method called EVP, electronic voice phenomenon.
Is this where they talk
Researchers
about,
believe that in
I've
some
come up with
cases,
Betty?
They've been able to imprint ghostly voices directly onto audio recording tape.
Whoa, they put an echo on his voice.
Please try to speak. Please try to give us
So,
a
okay,
message.
now we're moving on to
Please
EVP.
tell me who is who.
EVP, electric voice phenomenon, is all about you record, you ask questions,
Sarah Estep.
then later on you play it back. I've come up with Betty. See, and you hear things. You're supposed to hear the ghost. I don't know why you can't hear them when you're there. I don't know. I think I never really got that part of it.
Microphones are
But
yours.
the fuck is going on there?
Recording
It's like
a little over 15 years ago.
EVP researcher. She's like, yeah. But then you play it back and you get answers or voices. We watched a movie with Michael Keaton that had that in it, and the guy that played Haggard was in it, and he got killed by fucking like TVs falling on him. Like the ghost killed him. It was like, yo, my wife. I'll see you in the mall. That kind of stuff.
Commercially packaged tape is used.
Commercially packaged.
Surprisingly, the ghostly voices are not audible
was
during
that?
the
I can't
actual
remember what the
recording
movie was
process.
called.
They're only discovered later when the tape is played back.
Yep. What did I just
In some
say?
cases,
This guy's stealing all my material.
on the reverse side of the
Tim
tape.
White.
Generally, the words are only heard once. We are repeating them here for clarity.
So what they're saying is like they're recorded for all time, but a memorial.
Voices
But
often recorded at places that
they're usually the ghost isn't like I've come up with Betty. I've come up with Betty.
Church and burial
Like
ground
they'll
in
say it
Baltimore
one time. So
is one of the oldest in America. Many of the graves here date back to the 1700s.
I think I was actually was actually at that graveyard years ago. We went down to those catacombs. It was creepy. Like I said, I don't really. It's not like I was like, "There's a ghost, help me!" But it's definitely creepy. I mean, it's a catacombs. It's underground, buried people. So. That person's like, "Hey, by the way, I'm still here with Betty. I want you to know, I'm back again."
A few years ago,
Um,
and I picked up the
I'm
We leave
this
the
stuff
soul
still kind of makes me a little nervous, only because it's like the sounds, like the EVP, that kind of thing, where it's like, I will have to say though, like back then I was like, yeah, that's what it says. But if their words weren't on there, would you really like specifically be like, that's what it says? And that's why when there's like videos of Bigfoot and they put like a circle around it, I don't know, it's kind of hard for me to take that seriously. I mean it's Bigfoot, that's kind of, you know, whatever here or there, but it's like you put a circle around something and it's putting the suggestion in your head that there's something there. So you know, your face will you will make a face out of something. I forget what that phenomenon's called, but it's a human trait.
The prisoners were brought here largely by steamboats and were made to walk along the sandy beach up to Fort Lincoln, where they were then turned inland and marched to the prison pen. Over 50,000
Assistant Park Manager
march, and
Donald Hammett.
over 4,000 of them. It was the last march they made since they died prisoners of war.
Damn.
This has to be one of the places.
Linda Martin, paranormal investigator.
It's just the whole area.
I often wonder like what these people thought about
Just localized
like
to
these
one building or one
experts or
spot
people
on
that
the
saw
ground.
this or
It is
historians.
the whole
Were they
campus
told
of
that like, you know, this was gonna be like what this I'm assuming they were told and had to sign a paper But, and I guess they're not doing this out of like malice. They're not doing it as like a joke. They're not riffing on them. So it's not like today where you have a YouTube video, they'd interview somebody, you know, and then put them in there and they'd be like goofing on them. So, this is the other thing. This is what I was talking about, where there's the phenomenon of ghosts being printed on a place, and not a thing or a person.
Immediately returned, and when I got to where I'd seen him cross the road, there was no trail coming out of the woods on one
He's
side
like,
of the road, nor
"Hey, boo boo,
where's
Yogi Bear?"
Is there any sign of
Well, I guess that's Yogi Bear saying that.
anybody in the area?
He'd be saying like
This has happened
Ranger.
different times, always on the same
People are like,
section
"Who the
of
hell is
road.
Yogi
Can't
Bear?"
explain this,
I'm old.
Over the years, many paranormal investigations have been drawn to Point Lookout. Photographer Ron Stallings took this picture inside the lighthouse. Next to Nancy Stallings is what appears to be the
I'm like,
image of a man in uniform.
home? See, I don't know. I guess like you can see that. That's the thing. They show it and they say what it's supposed to be. You can make it out because you've been told what you're looking for. But if you were given that, if this person says I've come up with Betty, let's talk. Some of this I don't remember as much. Some of this I fast forwarded. I think this one I was kind of like, eh. But I'm sure I watched it a couple times here and there.
Imprinted on the tape through psychokinesis, or as the result of electronic interference.
Having
There is one aspect of EVP that defies explanation.
watched this for the first time in a while, I mean, this is pretty spooky stuff. I mean,
There in the basement of the lighthouse.
it's that lady again with the EVP.
Voice of a young boy that said,
I was seeing the wall.
Were you a soldier here?
I was seeing the war. What does that even mean? So, like, I mean, I know what that means, but, like, if I asked... So, okay. Say, like, 200 years from now, somebody was, like, doing EVP, and ghosts exist, and I was a ghost. And they were like, what were you doing? And I was like, I was seeing sightings. Like, why wouldn't I just say, I was watching Sightings, the TV show? Like, I don't know. I guess that's maybe that's how they spoke. It's just kind of, you know. He's like, I'm taking a picture of this place.
We came to the castle today to try to capture ghosts. See images
The way he said, he's like, ghosts. He's like, I don't even believe this shit. I've been kind of ripping on it, but I mean, I did believe pretty heavily at one point. Ghosts is just, you know, I've been around for a while and I have never seen a ghost. Have I been scared before? Hell yeah. I got scared earlier in this episode when the volume was too high. But it wasn't a ghost, it was just me having the volume too damn high before I freaking checked it and started the freaking video for us to do the commentary or the, you know, reaction or talking about it too. They're like, Jesus. Good Lord, why they got a picture of it? Who the fuck? This guy's like, ah, no, little book.
Records indicate that when the castle was used as a seminary, one disturbed Jesuit priest.
Oh my God, this was, I remember, this was fucked up. Because they add in this effect. He's like, I'm like, Jesus! It's like, he became fucking evil. And I'm like, that's something that kind of, I think one of the movies we watched, an Italian horror movie where this priest, like, looked at this dude when he was like, well, he looked at this dude. He was dead and was evil, and then looked at this guy, and just looking at the guy made the guy puke up his fucking literal intestines. And I was like, I just like that kind of stuff. I'm like, who the fuck thinks of that kind of stuff?
Sure enough, he revealed to us a page number, and
yeah, here we go. He's like, I'm about to commit a fucking kill myself because I'm a fucking perverted dude, and I'm like, Jesus.
A perverse nature shall be absent.
Watch, they're gonna switch over. Yeah, he's like, he like turns into a freaking devil. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
People want to be scared. People want to be scared.
Okay.
That's why we're here. That's why we come to.
I want to be scared. Help me. It's like, wait, what?
The forlorn ghost of Kate is by far the most common sighting.
Working at Off Topic.
Although Kate lost her life in room 306, she's often reported lingering in the turret room.
The turd room.
With so
like,
much haunting activity in such a concentrated area, sightings arranged for psychic Rhonda Griffin.
Oh, it's not Peter. What's his name is? He's in some of these sometimes, like a medium that they use all the time. Peter. Damn it, I forget what his name is. He'll probably pop up because they're probably going to do Alcatraz, from what I remember at least. They're going to do Alcatraz, and then they're going to talk about how like some dude got killed there, and he's like, oh. I didn't go, oh. Oh, sorry. Someone's breathing here. Someone's dead. Help me. Rhonda Griffin, psychic.
Did she jump out this window?
She's like, lucky it's a Family Guy.
The picture I just saw, I saw somebody fall out of a window. And when I saw it, my heart just jumped.
She's like, I know this is readily accessible information that this person jumped out the window, and she's like, oh my God, no. I'm like,
With great emotion, she was able to articulate the tremendous pain and suffering she felt reliving Kate's suicide. Rhonda was describing in
Good
great
Lord.
detail shocking events that
Making
other
sure that
guests
this
had
is,
only reported
yeah,
seeing
there we go,
briefly.
okay.
The psychic energy Rhonda was experiencing.
What the fuck? They took a picture of her when she was doing that? She's like, they're like, she's like, oh. Like, huh? I never really realized that till now. It's like, huh? They're like, okay.
And it's a concentration of energy. Where these ley lines cross is where energy vortexes.
Yeah, so that's something they kind of talk about in like Ghostbusters, where in that they created all these ley lines or power spots that converged at the hotel where Zool and Gozer and Vince Clortho did all their stuff. But it's just, I mean, that's a movie, but that's essentially what all this is based on. Not on Ghostbusters, but that is based on this kind of stuff because Dan Aykroyd, I know, is a big paranormal enthusiast. He talks about aliens and how they're real all the time. Well, not all the time, but he talks about it.
He's isolated. He's alone.
He's alone.
He's holy. I see him.
Man, they don't mess around. They talk about this stuff pretty frequently, don't they?
He's seated.
He's seated. Okay, it's still recording. Oh God. Anybody that doesn't want to see like a thing of, suicide, self-harm, probably shouldn't watch now because they're gonna. I can't remember if they actually show it. But yeah.
Helplessness. He's very, he's relieved.
I'll let you know when it's over. But yeah, that voice, I'm like, Jesus, come on. It's a
I see a body swinging.
So I don't see them showing it. She's talking about, the act of what happened here. They didn't show it, so you can continue to watch again here. Talking about the Psalms that he said, possibly.
Bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that is within me, bless his holy name. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and forgive all
Okay, they're showing it. I failed.
who heals all your diseases, who redeems your life from the grave, who crowns you with loving kindness.
Now, do you think that lady was actually crying, or is she faking it?
You have to think in the back of your mind, well, this
I don't
could
know.
be some kind of a put-on type of
That's
deal.
what I'm saying. Who
Then
knows?
she came up with a couple things tonight that were unexplainable. And how'd you come up with the page number in the Bible? I can't explain that. No one else can either.
No one can explain it. Not one person.
After taking over 1,000 photographs at the castle, Steve
And
processed
who can
the
argue with
scene in the
that?
Studio. Using 5 different types of black and white and 3 kinds of high-speed color film, he discovered something he can't explain.
Pull the string!
Taken on the same camera, the same film stock. This is just the first frame. This is the second frame. And as you can see right here, there's
Okay, so I'm gonna come out and say it. I forgot how boring this part of it was, so I kind of apologize if this part's a little boring. I remember a lot of the beginning and kind of the end. I might have fast forwarded through this one too. It's like, I mean, no, I guess no, not trying to dunk on the dude that, you know, took himself out, or the lady, or just any of these stories, but I just, as a kid, and even now, I'm like, oh my god, the checkerboard pattern!
1 in 10 Americans claims to have seen or been in the presence of.
1 in 10 Americans.
For most, it's an
So if there are 10 people watching this, one of you has seen a ghost.
the experience is dramatic,
Maybe
constant, and terrifying.
you've even seen one
For them,
watching this.
ghosts are real because
Oh.
they have scars, both emotional and physical, to prove it.
Scars, emotional, physical.
It's an unlikely setting for
This might be Sally's
real-life
ghost.
horror story. America's heartland, where the promise of the American dream can still be realized. Clean air and water, safe neighborhoods, a place where you can still buy a house and start your own business. All the reasons why the King
You could buy a house there. I'm like, well, you can buy a house anywhere. It's just whether you can afford it.
means confronting an
Yep.
evil
I think
force
this is Sally's.
to have possessed the family.
Sally's house.
One night I went to bed in the early a.m. and I woke up, and my daughter, who was not quite a year old, still in diapers, she wasn't even walking. She could stand. I woke up the next morning and I felt pressure on my jaw real hard. And when I woke up and I looked up, my baby is standing straddling my neck and it's got a butcher knife shoved down my throat.
Shoved down your throat?
She looked at me and she started screaming like I'd woke her up, but her eyes were open.
The bizarre, violent
Don't have a single cut in your mouth.
1987, just after
That was like the first thing in this I was kind of like, really?
sought here turned into a waking nightmare.
Your child shoved a fucking butcher knife down your throat, and you don't have a single scar to show for it. And how the hell did she shove it down your throat? Like, maybe she meant like the tip of it went in her mouth, but like, like, you'd be like, oh!
Bite marks.
When the Kings first came here,
Like, I'm sleeping. That must be a sound sleeper if I'm sleeping through my child shoving a fucking knife down my throat. I'm like,
$60,000 asking price was reduced
Oh.
to $24,000 when the family made a serious offer. There were whispers
maybe this isn't
of
Sally's
gruesome
house.
murders
Jesus! They're like, oh! Time to scare the shit out of this cat.
with the unknown force
Like,
intensified. A mysterious stain appeared above the fireplace. The spot was sandblasted, but the stain came back. Fresh paint and new wallpaper immediately peeled off. the
man, that's
walls.
80s wallpaper right there.
Fires kept erupting near the attic. In desperation, the Kings consulted
It's like,
parapsychologists.
I don't know, when I was a kid, I was like, oh my god, it's unexplainable, but it's like, they probably, I mean, from the look of that house, that was probably just bad wiring or something up there.
To me meant that things of a shadowy nature were taking
But
place.
I'm not saying this stuff doesn't exist. I do think it. If somebody came up to me and I knew them and they said I experienced this or I saw a ghost, I wouldn't be like, you're full of shit. I believe them because I think that they've seen something. I don't know what it is.
Began to have terrifying visions of a grisly murder. Was she seeing the ghostly images of a
I often wonder, maybe sometimes, like, what if ghosts are just people from other dimensions crossing over at that time? That's why you can't really capture it or anything. Same thing with Bigfoot or anything paranormal, is another dimension, or maybe like the fourth dimension or something phasing in. I don't know. It's a more scientific explanation.
She released and it was over. And then, you know, the little girl, he hit her first time with the shovel. And
Oh yeah, she talks about fucking this dude killing his family, and I'm like, good lord, dude.
She knew he was hurting her, and she screamed, "Mommy!" And Mommy was already sliding down, and he hit the little girl, and the first time she hit the wall. So he hit her again, and then her little head.
It's like,
Blood just started, kind of splattered on all through her little hair.
like, good lord, man.
And then he drug him over there.
Is this really fucking necessary?
Me and Steven would even stay awake.
Wait, Steven? I know him.
Just to make sure we didn't feel anything or see anything.
He's like, my name is Steve.
At one point, getting the most attention, I guess, if you want to put it that way. She was being almost like violated.
And then it moved away
Good
from
lord.
me onto the children, and they were actually being bitten. Ashley got the worst of that.
The guy's face when she's being bitten, and the guy's like, yeah. I'm like, okay.
One time I jumped on top of her, and I was really mad.
She said, bite me, and they didn't because they couldn't stop it. It's like, I could see how that would be, if that was actually happening. It's like, that's a fucked up thing to have to go through as an adult, or just in general. So if you had somebody you wanted to try to protect and that was happening to them and you couldn't do anything because the thing that was attacking him was ethereal. Okay, so here's one of the guys, Dr. William Roll. He's been on Unsolved Mysteries as well. Back in the day, this guy used to do all kinds of stuff.
Leaving open the possibility that the occurrences may be related to that situation. A home like this is a kind of hatchery for ghosts, you might say.
He kind of tried to do like more, what's it called? The more scientific explanation for this kind of stuff, or as scientific as you can get for ghosts and stuff. Look at the size of that camera. The camera I'm recording this on right now is probably about that big. The one the guy's got on is, well, you saw it, but yeah, it's about 40 years of progress right there, baby. Yeah. I wonder if this has the one in it where like the dude was like hung by ghosts, because that was on one of these and it was like it was like, I think that was one that got me more than anything. I mean, that's why people like horror movies. They might not believe in ghosts or Bigfoot, UFOs, that kind of stuff, but everybody likes the idea of what if. And I think that's why this kind of stuff, I was drawn to it. I mean, drawn to this, drawn to, like I said, X-Files, Star Trek, Star Wars, just tons of stuff where it's just a different thing.
Monsters weren't real, and there wasn't
our world is very interesting, but there are things that we don't have in it that you can see through the lens in a movie or a video game or a book, a comic, a manga, TV shows, or even music and art.
They wanted a safer home for their children, but finances have made it impossible for them to abandon the home.
And this was in the 80s or 90s.
And no one can predict what awaits them now.
Pure death.
This haunting in America's heartland is a prime example of what researchers
He's like, I don't have to worry about it.
In residual haunting, energy from the past doesn't dissipate. It remains in the environment, replaying over and over like an
over and over again.
The place, and the more tragic its past, the more haunted it becomes. This may explain why 500-year-old Stirling Castle is considered the most haunted place on Earth.
Whoa!
Since its settlement thousands of years
Stonehenge.
known as the Druids, the British Isles have had a rich
They're like,
communication with otherworldly spirits.
We will create
At Stirling Castle in Scotland,
the most haunted place in the world.
And feeling evil spirits. In fact, since Stirling Castle was
You have to take every picture of it from an angle.
Countless eyewitnesses have reported
And there's
seeing
constant
ghosts,
fog
evil
being
spirits,
pushed in from a fog machine.
and demons.
I saw a shadow. No
Uh-oh.
face. Just a dark shadow in the corner.
It's R. Roberts,
Back again.
local
There was
resident.
absolutely nothing.
I've been walking around there at night and I felt a presence. I felt
Charles
someone
Duthie.
behind me.
Wasn't exactly on the ground. She was kind of floating, but she had her face away from
So
me.
this is a local resident as well.
It definitely was a woman.
The best known ghost in Stirling Castle is the Green Lady. And she is said to be
This guy loves his job. You can
a
tell.
servant maid who saved Mary Queen of Scots from death in 1661 when the bed curtains caught fire from a naked flame, a candle.
A naked flame.
Her spirit is said still to haunt Stirling Castle today.
The flame
What we saw just
had
at
no
the corner
clothes.
of the graveyard up at the foot of the castle wall
Denise Roberts.
was a lady dressed in green. It seemed to be
Lady
glowing.
in
Ran
green.
up to see what was going on and covering 25 yards.
This is like the old school kind of like
Think
ghosts.
of any other castle that actually has a photograph of one of the ghosts.
Just
And
the
they have a
accents,
photograph of a Highlander.
the, you know, we're talking Highlander. This is like old stuff.
Through him as he comes underneath the archway.
Castles.
The photograph away,
Just,
and it was tested.
this
and
is
it was
awesome stuff.
negative. Hadn't been
It's
superimposed on top of it or anything. So that's why
America's old,
picture of the ghost.
but
Trying to make contact with ghosts in
at
a
least,
site such
you
as
know,
Stirling Castle can be approached in several different ways by both scientists and
the
spiritualists.
colonies
We brought two
aren't as
separate
old
investigative teams
as,
to
you know,
Stirling, each
the stuff they have
operating
going on over
independently,
there.
both with the same end in
And
mind.
it's there's something about like that primordial or ancient
Internationally respected psychical researcher Tony Cornell came to Stirling from
haunting,
Cambridge, searching for scientific evidence.
unknown paranormal
One thing about
that
the
just
whole psychic
gives it that
field is
extra.
it's full
It's
of
kind of like
contradictions.
class, you know.
You can go to one case and say, oh, this is absolute rubbish. This is imagination. This is nonsense. You go to another one and you get a pearl of information. It's all right, we can't ignore this. So, I should
Tony
think,
Cornell.
really, I'd say there are such things as ghosts. I've never seen one. I'd very much
That's
like to
me.
see one.
I don't know about
Perhaps I might
wanting to see
tonight,
one.
you know.
He's like, maybe I'll see one tonight. And then he was like, ah!
Glenn Edwards to help him
Like,
choose a good
holy
location
shit!
for night surveillance.
There's something here. There's definitely something here.
Here? What about over here?
Is it George
Not
Lucas?
so much here. Not so much here.
When we go out on an investigation, the kind of equipment we're taking is purely simply to confirm the physical presence of it. Is it in the mind of the person, or is it
in
a
the
real
person of the
physical
mind?
object? So what we do is we take
Yoda style.
equipment that will record
Open
any
Yoda
changes
style.
in the physical environment, sound, sight.
So I guess we could go ahead and talk about the equipment that a lot of, you know, ghost hunters will use. Some of the stuff that they talk about, I've never been ghost hunting. I've watched so many of these shows, though. I'm not really an expert, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn last night. A lot of times they, you know, they'll use voice recording stuff for EVP. They'll use FLIR. They'll use, you know, like you said, infrared stuff. Pretty much they're throwing whatever they can at a wall to see what sticks and see what they can get. You never know. I mean, I'm like, Jesus, fucking goblin. Or it could have been a leprechaun.
The lone night watchman was far from the recording site.
He was being like ripped apart by werewolves. He's like, they're like, oh, the security guard was just getting fucking killed by a cryptid in the moors. I'm like, that kind of stuff is more frightening to me than someone saying something, because it's like, okay, well, that's a human. It might be a ghost, but still, you know, that's a human. But when you hear that kind of stuff, it's like, holy shit, it could be a monster. That kind of stuff is probably more frightening than anything. The toll booth.
We go along and investigate these cases, speak with the people involved, if indeed they are something of a psychic nature.
But the kind of stuff that they use to investigate it, like I said, they kind of use... Oh, that's another thing, is the Gonsfeld experiment, where you kind of like put yourself in a like essentially like an isolated environment. So no sight, no sound. You're kind of cut off from everything. So they put ping pong balls over your eyes, tape them up, and then put like stuff that you can't, what's it called, headphones, but they're like sound deafening, and you're supposed to get some sort of, that's supposed to boost your abilities. So psychics, Chip Coffey from Paranormal State, and many other things, has done that before, and I remember seeing him do that, and he was just like, you know, it freaked the shit out of me. I don't know how, yeah, well, that's probably for a different time to talk about that. But I like Chip Coffey. Out of all the stuff you can say about Paranormal State with like Ryan and all that stuff, Chip Coffey seems like a stand-up person. But I don't know.
Do you feel that the spirit has been released then from this room?
He's no longer here as far as I'm concerned.
So you're quite sure of this?
Yes.
Yeah. He wanted out, and he got out. He got that door that he wanted.
Yeah.
There's no
He's
way
like,
to come back.
We know.
They're like, are you kidding me? Don't say that. We're selling tickets for people to come here to see ghosts, damn it.
Of the country at that particular time, and indeed over many, many years, then there's no doubt there were thumb screws and practices within that toll booth to force confessions from the
That's another thing. So there was a story about one of these, and it might even be this castle, but it was a castle where it was in an oubliette where they would like torture and kill people and stuff under the castle while people were having a good time and being like, yeah. And it like created, well, that guy just said that that was the scariest place on earth, and then he said, what about the ultimate haunted house? Because that was shit. He's like, it was almost like I was talking to a human being. The ultimate.
Because it's a place that already exists.
It's hell. Here we go, Alcatraz. But like, all that anguish created this like freaking little tiny demon, and somebody saw it and they were like, it smelled so bad I puked, and I was like, oh my god.
We're in the guardhouse
So,
in 1857. It was intended
I don't know if this guy likes his job.
as a defensive point. There was a gun that would have
He's
been
like,
mounted
eh.
here, but it never got used. Instead, this was turned into the first cell block on Alcatraz
Jesus.
in 1863.
He's like,
Insubordinate soldiers were locked away in tiny cells measuring only 3 by 6 feet. They were beaten, chained to the walls, and forced to endure hard labor on the rock.
if you smell.
Alcatraz boomed, and by 1909, the cell house that dominates the top
Or
of the island
with Nick Cage and Sean Connery, The Rock.
incarceration of military prisoners.
I wonder if they saw any ghosts while they were filming that movie.
A barbaric military prison until the 1960s.
Jesus! He's like, oh.
Reached a peak.
The guy's like, I don't know what to say.
City streets. The Justice Department requested that the military surrender the
Shout back to our Dick Tracy episode for something like this.
the last stop for America's most hardened criminals.
I'm like, flat top.
Were
Ah!
stored here until 1963 when the prison closed.
Are they gonna have, what's his face come on here? Peter or whatever?
Public in 1973 and attracts 4,000 tourists a day.
4,000 tourists. A second.
That Alcatraz is haunted.
That's where Roddy Piper had before he fought Hulk Hogan in WCW. He locked himself in Alcatraz.
I think it's a natural idea that when you come onto the island, you're going to be
I'm not making that up.
little special,
And that's one of
little extra. Sounds of the
RG
cell door
Polo.
somebody appearing and then disappearing. Those type of things would really send chills up your spine.
I'm like, zzz.
Ray Polo, a former Park Service
Ray.
ranger
Oh, it's
on the
so.
island, claims many
I'm pretty
ghost
sure I
encounters have
thought it said
occurred,
RG
but the
Polo.
past
Is it
15
Ray
years,
Polo and
the
G
Park
is
Service
just.
has refused to
You don't
talk
want to say
about
what it
reports
is?
that Alcatraz is haunted.
Or maybe I just saw RG and it's Ray.
We would say that, in fact, well, maybe things had happened, maybe they didn't. It's just something that.
He's gonna show up here. Ray or Peter's gonna show up.
Are
He's got to. Because I remember he was...
We asked nationally renowned psychic investigator
Peter James! Here he is! He's got the mustache.
With Peter as he tried to communicate with what he calls entities inside Alcatraz.
We got Tim White on the case, too.
Through the cell blocks, Peter began to hear what he felt were the voices of...
Look at this. He's got a black mustache and, from what I remember, like kind of like salt and pepper gray hair. They're doing more effects here with these voices, and it scared me.
Like a psychic bloodhound, Peter was drawn to out-of-the-way places around the island.
It's music. Yeah. Look at that. Look how big that freaking mustache is, and it's straight up black. I'm like, is he like on a trolley or something? Like he's like gliding. I never realized that till now. But yeah, his eyebrows and his mustache are straight up black, and I'm like, I don't know. Maybe he doesn't dye it because his eyebrows are like that. But then, does he dye his eyebrows and mustache? Huh? Or neither.
And this is an American life that was lost in this particular cell. And I feel badly. I feel beaten. I don't feel that I lost
Tim White's like,
from gunfire.
holy shit.
I lost life because of neglect. I was neglected. I am responding to, there's a definite sense here that I'm hungry, I'm thirsty. There could not be any crime in the world worth the punishment that I feel this entity endured.
Peter had correctly identified the dank dungeon where
I'm like,
prisoners were kept. The specific
two things there. I could think of a couple of punishments that would probably be, you know, whatever. But like things people did to give whatever punishment he's talking about, like, I think we can think of a couple. But two, like, doesn't this, I'm pretty sure that all this is like public information. Like, it's not like Alcatraz is like, people don't go there, what, 4,000 times a day? So I'm pretty sure all this information would be easy for him to find. I'm not trying to crap on psychics, I'm just saying everything, somebody said, what is it, like, only believe, like, believe nothing of what you hear and only a little bit of what you see.
To comply with these orders.
So it's like, is this guy giving us, as Rhodes said, a mouthful of Greek salad? Or
area we were told there's trouble on the rock.
On May the 2nd, 1946,
they were like, whatever, that guy just used to be a guard. Take away his name real quick.
Accomplices decided to blast their way out of the prison.
I feel like I'm being thrown into this cell and I'm being thrown into that cell.
During that time, they gathered up 9 officers, put them inside of cells to be used as hostages.
Jesus, peek the mic, why don't you? He's like, he's like, I'm here against my will. How do you like it? How do you like it?
And at the point of the gun,
who's holding it? Who's shooting?
I feel.
He's like,
Joseph is involved here.
Joseph Kretzer. He was one of the toughest of the bunch. He was really a mean dog.
Mean dog.
Joseph is keeping me captive
Bad
here.
dog.
Joseph is placing me here against my will. Where's Joseph?
Joe Kretzer took the 45 automatic.
But it's like, see, these guys know. This isn't like unknown information. That's why it's like the psychic stuff is a little hard for me to kind of, I don't know. It makes for a good show, though. Jesus, the cuts are like.
There's a Bill or William.
What about Billiam?
In the hospital in San Francisco. Other officers were very seriously wounded.
The name starts with a C.
Cecil Corwin had his lower jaw torn away.
Good Lord, his lower jaw?
Alarm sounded Military reinforcements arrived. The inmates fled to a utility
The way they're like,
C block. 46 years later,
they're like,
Peter James led our cameras to the same.
Peter, you've sensed a lot in there.
Now they're in freaking.
We have an infrared lens.
Oh my god.
Why don't you go in there with the camera?
I wish we could. Are they going to show another?
I would like that.
Like another version of this where you can see that this is like straight up like they're in the dark, like in the daylight. It's like, Peter, we're gonna send you into this freaking room, and there's 100 demons and ghosts in there, and he's like, I would like that. I'm like, are you insane?
There's I am responding to a sensation here, and I feel like I'm losing consciousness.
He's actually like, guys, I really feel like I'm about to pass out. I think that I'm really losing consciousness, and he just like falls over, and they're like,
oh, it's cold. It's freezing back here. There's a cold spot here. Oh, yes. Hello?
hello, hello there.
Soul here with the letter B.
Bernard Paul Coy died in the utility corridor of C block.
So they're moaning. The pain is so intense. They're like little
Maybe it felt good. They're like,
almost
oh.
for the guidance of their
They're like, mama.
There are at least
It's kind of fucked up. They're showing dead bodies like that.
entities that walk these corridors,
It's like,
looking for a way out, looking
really?
for that life force that they seem to have
Use
lost
the life force, Luke.
tragically.
I can't really say that I'm a believer myself.
Yeah, because you just said the exact same shit he said.
There are some things that just simply are unexplained.
He's like, yeah, I'm getting paid. Fuck it.
Ghost is easy. Skeptics say, I'll believe it when I see it, and walk away.
Well, see ya.
But the people
Oh.
who have experienced a haunting firsthand can't just walk away.
Those who investigate the paranormal are driven by different needs.
That's true.
A scientific desire to find explanations to the seemingly unexplainable. And in the process, to perhaps find the answer to mankind's deepest question.
Life after death.
Is there some form of life after death?
I know we live in an age
You
where
know,
people say,
what do
it's
you
all
believe?
nonsense. Well,
That's up
it's
to
not
you.
nonsense. There's something still left that needs explaining, which science at the moment doesn't seem to want to look at.
To ignore it is to retreat into ignorance. To pursue it is to pursue one of the most baffling, enigmatic mysteries that we have ever confronted about the nature of our being. And in so doing, I think we have an opportunity.
He's like, yeah, if you don't believe in this, you're freaking ignorant.
In our
So.
understanding of ourselves, indeed, in our understanding of reality itself.
The people who have been touched by the ghost experience wonder why it's happening to them.
That's what I'd be wondering.
Investigators continue to search
Why is
for
this happening to
answers.
me?
They know something is there, but what exactly that something is continues to haunt them. For Sightings, I'm Tim White.
Good night. He didn't say good night. Oh my gosh! Executive producer Henry Winkler, Fonz, hey. So he probably made a good chunk of change on this. So, have you ever watched Sightings, the TV show from back in the day? Have you ever heard of it? Did you like it back in the day? So, I'm gonna let that go ahead and just play. So, thanks for joining me on this kind of step back in time to a younger Mike when paranormal stuff was his whole world. And what do you think about the paranormal? Do you believe in it? Do you think it's stupid? Do you think it's awesome? Do you like horror movies? Do you not like them? So I'd like to hear what you think in the comments, and maybe I'll do this again with another video or another movie, an on-screen commentary. So maybe be something maybe not as scary. So Until next time, everyone. Bye.
Okay, Mike. I'm ready for the video. What the shit?